Welcome, everyone, to our webinar. Super excited to have you guys here with us today. I am Liz Fritz. I'm the founder and Chief Commercial Officer at F2 Strategy. And I'm here today with two of the three of our panelists. We hope to have one joining here soon, but we're here with Vijay Rao, who's the CIO of Just Invest, and also Mike Defoe, who's an engineer at Vanilla. We're hoping to be joined here by Matt Wallen soon. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties, but he's a partner advisor over at AdvicePeriod. So hopefully he'll be able to jump in either here via camera or via phone and add some of his perspective. But making sure we respect everybody's time, we wanted to get started here. So without further ado, welcome everybody. We're here to talk about future-proofing your business with direct indexing and estate planning, and really talking about the trajectory and general kind of conversion of estate planning and technology in the future, and how to prepare. So let's jump right in it. Again, I'm Liz Fritz. I'm honored to be your moderator today. I'm here, founder of F2 Strategy. My husband, Doug Fritz, and I joined 5 years ago. It's our 5-year anniversary this month. And we are a wealth tech consulting business. So we provide outsourced chief technology officer solutions to our clients in the RIA, wealth, and family office space. Excited to be here. I'm going to pump it over to Vijay, who will share a little bit about his role at Just Invest.
Thanks, Liz. I'm Vijay Rao. I'm the Chief Investment Officer and one of the founders of Just Invest. For those of you who don't know us, we're a direct indexing firm focused on creating customized equity portfolios for advisors' clients, and really finding exactly what those clients need in terms of tax optimization or tax customization, ESG customization, or really being able to craft a portfolio around your clients' needs.
Cool.
Mike?
Yeah, and I'm Mike Defoe at Vanilla. So we are a fintech startup that's really focused on the estate planning perspective and helping advisors create some efficiency and be more a part of the process for their clients.
Well, cool. Thank you guys for being here. I am personally excited about this topic. Just I was sharing with the guys before we went live. My husband and I did our estate plan, gosh, maybe 7 years ago at this point, and it's a big silver binder sitting in our bookshelf right now that has dust growing on it. So I'm really fascinated to hear your perspectives on this kind of intersection of estate planning, technology, ways that we can use tech for efficiencies, ways that we can use technology to empower clients. So I think we'll just kind of jump right in. I've got some questions prepared for you guys. And I know we've got a question, or Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, we've got a question and answer button. So if you guys, if the audience has questions throughout, please feel free to type those in, and we'll answer them throughout the call. And if we don't get to yours, we can field them after the call and get back to you. So if anything pops up, please jot those questions down so we can answer as many live time. But first, to kind of to lay the land, starting with estate planning, Vijay or Mike, really kind of what are your thoughts on this intersection? Like, lay the foundation. Where are we today, especially in the last 12 to 18 months? Where have we been projected into? What are clients thinking about on both a technology perspective, and also what maybe some of the advisors are thinking about in this intersection of estate tech planning and tech? Vijay, why don't you kick it off for us?
Well, on the estate planning front, we deal with a lot of advisors, and usually we come in after the estate planning process has already been completed. But we do see a lot of frustration on the front end in terms of advisor having to refer out to an attorney, and the attorney may do something that the advisor's not anticipating, and that sort of thing, in terms of how trusts are set up or whether they're set up or that sort of thing. And really, we do see a lot of delays and so forth in terms of getting the investment management process set up. While some of that stuff is either corrected or unwound or completed to the advisor's liking. But I think Mike probably has a closer view on the estate planning process and can dive into that a little bit better than I can.
Well, yeah, and as running the sales here at Vanilla, obviously I talk with a lot of advisors and hear those pain points, right? And there's kind of two areas of estate planning. There's the front end, helping clients get set up in the first place. What do they need? What do they need help with? And in a general sense, they would find a local attorney generally and refer a client out to them. We want to have them more a part of that process and create some efficiency there. And by utilizing technology, there's some other factors in play. We can lower the cost a bit. We can streamline it. We can lower the time it takes to get the documents. The price is, straight across the board, across the country, instead of having various prices depending on the market the attorney's in. And then you have after the fact. What happens if things change? Do attorneys normally reach out to the client and offer those changes and update the client on what needs to be done? We don't see that happen as much. So again, we can utilize technology to proactively notify the client, and we're using the advisors to do that by putting notifications and action items for the clients. Here's things that you could talk to your client about, and then we give them ways to resolve those issues.
So some of the trends that you're seeing, I hear you guys saying, time and efficiency, being proactive. What are some of maybe like the top 3 trends that, Mike, maybe just continue on that you're seeing when you're speaking to advisors that you're seeing maybe from both the advisors' needs and issues and pain points that are coming up, but also clients? The last 12 months have changed a lot. What are some things that clients are consistently coming to their advisors for?
Yeah, I try not to bring up COVID too often, but obviously it's affected all of us, and it's exacerbated. It didn't really change a lot. We haven't seen. It's exacerbated a change that was already occurring. Yep. My clients are leaving the big cities and going, to the middle of the country. Maybe I, as an advisor, don't have a relationship set up in another state or another location. How much time do I invest finding and setting up those relationships to refer a client? Maybe my time could be spent doing something else, and I could use a service that has already done that work. The other thing is visiting people face to face. I don't want to go, take time out of my day to go spend time with an attorney. If I could do some of these things from my computer or iPad at home, that's more, more time back in my pocket. I don't have to see anybody. I don't have to jump through the hoops that it takes to visit with people face to face.
And are there some, from a technology perspective, one more question, is there some, as putting myself in the shoes of a client, I'm the founder of a business, I've got 2 little kids that are finally, going to sports and school, I'm busy. How is technology empowering the client to do some of this stuff on their own as well?
Well, I think a lot of it is the education point. A lot of clients don't know what they need. Some advisors don't know what a clients need. And so we can kind of fit that gap to help a client understand, or help an advisor explain that to a client, and help the client, level up their education on what they need as well, so that they're more aware of what they need ahead of time. And then we always rely on attorneys to provide that legal advice and what the best case is. So we're not leaving attorneys in the dust. It's just that relationship needs to evolve a little bit, where, a lot of the questions me as a client may already know. I know who I want my guardian to be. I know who I want my fiduciaries to be. I don't necessarily want to pay somebody an hourly rate to answer those same questions. Maybe it's more effective to answer those at home on my own time, but make sure an attorney has reviewed it and that I've set it up correctly. And so that's how we bring them into the fold. And then again, after the fact, I, as a client, don't have a lot of time to look up changes in my state or national law, how those changes are going to affect my assets. Maybe there is something out there that could do that. And we like to stick the advisor in the middle of that to make sure that they continue to provide that value to the client.
No, that's super interesting. Just to hear it both from, not necessarily having technology take over and change the process. It's just to make it smoother and more efficient for everybody. Let's switch gears a little bit. So moving over to kind of the equity management side, VJ, I'm going to put you on the spot. What are some of the challenges that you see, like managing your clients' investments? What are some of the top kind of challenges and maybe some of the trends that you're seeing?
Yeah, the biggest challenge I think we see is when we're onboarding new accounts and transitioning accounts, new accounts from whatever they are previously invested in towards the new strategy that the advisor and the end client actually do want to be invested in. Whether that's from a tax perspective or whether that's from an ESG perspective, a lot of times advisors will go out and do what they do and go pitch a new client, onboard the client, only to find out that the client has been invested in something else for a long period of time, and they might have a low basis stock or a low basis ETF or a mutual fund that would be tax prohibitive to to sell, or that might be an inherited position or a position the client doesn't want to sell, etc. So we do spend some time working with advisors and working with clients to devise ways to perhaps sell down that concentrated position over time, tax loss harvest while we're doing it, so we're minimizing the tax impact and allowing that concentrated position to be worn down and hopefully get to something more closer to what the actual advisor or what the client needs, a more diversified portfolio that can track the index and perhaps complies with the client's ESG values or socially responsible values. That's, I think, a lot of the value that we add and a lot of the kind of day-to-day challenges that we deal with and really kind of specialize in.
So I heard a couple of buzzwords there. I heard ESG, I heard social responsible investing. What are some trends that you're seeing emerge?
Yeah. The biggest trend we've seen is not just in the past few months with the new administration. It's really been over the past few years. Is really looking for tax benefits from the portfolio, whether that's minimizing tax, whether that's tax loss harvesting, whether that's tax location, taking advantage of. Many clients might have a tax deferred or tax free account alongside a taxable account, and kind of deploying that client's asset allocation across all those accounts intelligently, really maximizing the benefits of all of those types of accounts and applying the strategy across all those accounts instead of replicating the strategy in each account. That is definitely an ongoing trend, which we see just increasing by the day. And I think that's where you see a lot of the buzz around direct indexing is really less about direct indexing per se, but more about the solutions that direct indexing can provide from an investment perspective for your clients. ESG continues to be a hot topic with the kind of continued social events that have been in the newspaper and have been in the headlines, whether it's around racial justice and gender equality, or whether it's around environmental issues, or even things like guns and tobacco and those sorts of things. Those continue to be big topics that clients, especially high net worth clients that clearly have enough money to live the rest of their life, they are worried about what is the impact that they can make with their wealth beyond just generating a financial return. So I don't see that trend changing anytime soon.
Yeah, we're seeing that too in our clientele as well, especially some of the older millennial Gen Xers. A lot of them are really focused on that social impact level. Mike, I'm going to ask you to put on a little bit of an advisor hat, because I know you're talking with advisors all day, every day. How do you see them leveraging something like Just Invest?
Yeah, to be clear, I'm not an advisor or an attorney, so I always I want to make sure I put the correct hat on.
Disclosure.
Yeah, so what I hear from advisors is it's a lot of time. I have a lot of clients. I want to touch base with them. I don't want to spend a lot of time in these various solutions. And fintech has been blowing up the last few years. So there's a lot of solutions out there. And what they want is again, efficiency, time. I want to spend more time with my clients. And so using a product like Just Invest, there's a lot of various accounts that clients can accumulate, especially as their wealth grows. There's a lot of things out there. Just Invest can kind of help put those together. Same thing with estate planning, and we kind of fold into the same workflow. I want to log in. What do I need to do here? Log into Vanilla. What action items do I need to take with my client? And now I reach out with my client with information, and then they move on to the next. So it's about still providing that same value without taking so much time researching, looking it up, spending various time, diving into the details of one area and leaving another area untouched or unused.
No, that's super helpful. How can, getting back to kind of the headline of our webinar here, how can advisors future-proof their business? Let's get to the nitty-gritty. What are some actionable tactical things advisors can do today? VJ, maybe I'll have you start, and Mike, you fill in some gaps, but what can people do today to future-proof for tomorrow?
Yeah, it's interesting. 10 years ago, maybe less than that, maybe 8 years ago, there was this kind of narrative out there that, oh, the advisor is not going to exist in the future, that robo-advisors are going to take over the world, and the financial advisor is dead, so to speak, because of technology will displace financial advisors. That could not have been further from the truth. In fact, most of the robo-advisors today are dead, and financial advisors, if you look at the numbers, the number of clients, the number of assets they have continues to grow. And when you look at client surveys and so forth, clients are very, very happy with their advisor. I think as we go through time, you'll continue to see you'll continue to see the value of that relationship between advisor and client grow even stronger. And I think advisors over time will need to start specializing in a few different niches that perhaps they're strongest in, and outsourcing the rest. So some advisors do sell themselves on investment management. I don't see that really changing, but many advisors won't want to sell themselves purely on investment management. They'll either go passive, or they'll have kind of a more broad-based, market-based investment strategy, while the advisor themselves focuses on estate planning, or focuses on ESG, or focuses on any one of a number of specialty topics that the advisor has expertise in, or has an interest in, and outsource kind of the rest of the overall wealth management process to other vendors, other providers that could probably do a good job for the overall client. So I do see that kind of specialization and kind of almost the team wealth management approach that you may see in some of the private wealth groups and some of the large wirehouse brokers. I see that trickling down to the independent advisor.
Interesting. Mike, if your audio is still
I'm
listening,
here.
is there is there anything else you wanted to add to that, just around future-proofing action?
Yeah, I'd say
the
thing that I hear the most is holistic approach. How do I add more value to my clients while not spending more time into one specific area? So I need focuses in a lot of different things. As advisors become this central source of trust, clients are going to come to them for a lot of different factors: taxes, investments, retirement, legal knowledge and legal expertise. And it's hard to accumulate all those various sources. And so you can utilize, really great products like Just Invest and Vanilla to help add that value to your clients, while not adding a whole lot of additional work, more school, more education. We certainly want to raise everybody's knowledge in those areas, but how much time do you want to spend? Do you want to actually become an estate planning attorney? Probably not. But can you utilize a resource to help bolster your knowledge in that space and offer that to clients? And then you just keep tacking all the different elements that advisors need to have, because as Vijay said, they're getting more clients. That means less time between each client. There's more resources. The tax law is changing. There's a lot of things kind of in flux and moving along. How many articles are we going to read about crypto this next month, right? So things keep evolving. It's not just, our founder, Steve Lockton, likes to say, when he got started, you would pick your age, 40 years old, and you do 60 in bonds and 40 in stocks, and that would be it. And it would adjust. Those days are gone. And now things have to be very specific to the client. And how much time really do you have to spend with that one single client to do it? You could utilize technology to help you with that. And so when it comes to future proofing, that's what I think of. That's what I hear from clients is, I need the technology that'll help create this efficiency. I want integrations. I want things to play nicely with each other. I want to give clients visibility. I want transparency. And I want to come with this kind of level of knowledge that I can bring to my clients. And that's, that's really where we see the trend occurring as advisors move forward.
That's great. And also from the client perspective, I'm hearing loud and clear efficiencies and being able to empower myself to be able to do things on my own time. If a client needs some time to think about things or to have some conversations on their back end, they don't need to schedule 4 meetings. They could potentially do that on their own device, or populate that at their home, and then come back in person and really make the most of those time together to talk about more of a holistic things that are going on with their family. Well, we've got a few minutes here, and Mike, I know you had the Q&A option open. I just wanted to pause for a few minutes and just see, have there been any questions, or even VJ or Mike, if there's anything that we haven't touched on that you feel like would be really important for our audience to hear? Just want to give some space for that right now.
Yeah, there were some questions, and I'll put it to VJ first. So the number one question right now is more detail on what Vanilla does and what Just Invest does. So some actual specifics around what we're doing. VJ, I'll let you go first, and then I'll kind of outline Vanilla on a much more detailed level.
Yeah. So diving into details, really we work with an advisor to understand the family in a household. We're not looking at just an account. We're looking at the household itself. So does that household have 2 members in it? Does it have 4 members in it? Are there taxable accounts? Are there IRAs? Do those taxable and IRA accounts need to be grouped into the household so we can manage to the household? So really what we look at is managing those accounts as tax efficiently as possible as a single group. Now, there might be something like an irrevocable trust, which has a different tax ID, which is a different entity, which is managed outside the group. Of course, we would manage that as a separate entity. But we work with advisors to really understand what is the household all about, what are they trying to target, and what is their tax situation, and apply effectively the portfolio across all of those accounts. So really, that's sort of what we do in a nutshell. Now, diving into generalities, I could probably speak here for 3 hours on specific client situations and what we would do in different circumstances. But really, it's applying that direct index, plus perhaps maybe some other assets that are not part of a direct index, ETFs or mutual funds, across all of those accounts in that household, and managing those as tax efficiently as possible to a benchmark, and applying any other customizations, whether they be ESG, whether they may be wearing down and unlocking a concentrated position in a taxable account, and really commingling all of those and bringing the best solution possible to the advisor and ultimately to the client.
Yeah, that's great. And there's a quick follow-up. Do all accounts have to be with Just Invest to look across households, or can you pull data in from other accounts from other custodians to look at the household?
That's a good question. So not all of the accounts have to be with us, and in many cases they're not. Many high net worth clients, they have private equity, they have venture capital, they have real estate, they have illiquid assets, which certainly we cannot manage, and they may even just have another investment manager. As long as we're able to receive the data in some format, and there's a variety of formats that we can work with, we can build that position. We can build the portfolio around that held away position. We need to know the generalities of it. We need to know how big it is, what the position is, and so forth to optimize around it. But certainly, we don't insist on certainly only optimizing around what we manage. We know that especially high net worth folks, their financial lives are more sophisticated and have larger portfolios than Just Invest alone to manage.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and I'll outline Vanilla as well. And what I'm going to do is kind of position it as a workflow perspective. So VJ, I'll give you more time after I talk in case you want to add to yours. There's also many questions. I don't think that we'll have time to tackle all of them, but we'll try and target them individually in just a bit. So the Vanilla perspective, it's easiest just to explain it from a workflow. How do advisors use it? So our platform is product number 1. What we want to do there is notify clients of changes in notify advisors, our clients, notify advisors of their clients' changes. So a common example that I see is I have a client whose 17-year-old is turning 18. I should reach out to them and help offer or get away, or at least let them know that they should get a power of attorney, healthcare directive, and HIP authorization for this child turning 18. They're going to be an adult. There's things the parents can't be a part of. They may not know that. And so the platform itself is driving value just by adding client information in. We can notify the advisor that a state law is changing, national law is changing. When we add more information, those action items and notifications change. And those action items are then the other elements that we provide. If a client needs documents, we can help shuttle them through a process that we created that then introduces them to an attorney in their state to help review the questions that they answered, and they can get their completed documents at the end. The other process, if a client already has documents, we actually review those documents ourselves and align that with the client's assets to visualize that for the advisor and the client to say, here is the structure of your estate plan, the flow of assets if something were to happen to you. Because obviously that information can bring up questions like, do I have all the documents I need or that I thought I paid for? And does everybody in my family or that I care about, are they protected in the way that I thought? So we visualize that in a very unique way. And then after we have all that information, again, it just recycles, and now we just have more notifications, more action items. When we see clients, hey, we see potential tax law changes at the end of the year. Here's the clients that could be affected by those changes once we have some idea what those numbers are. And so we can keep offering that organically within the platform to keep advisors up to date on changes. And now they have action items they can take. So just like with Just Invest, I might log into Just Invest and see information. I need to talk to a client. Let me log into Vanilla and see what things I need to take. And now I can put those together and reach out to the client. And we no longer have to reach out and ask them about a sports team or some other relevant information because we don't have anything else to give them. So we want to keep putting that information. And it's a matter of how much time have they spent. Log in, see what they need to do, move on to the next thing, and do that over and over again for the clients because we want you out prospecting, we want you taking care of clients. I think that's the most valued part. Did we lose VJ?
I am still here, but my my camera has died.
Technology's been on our we started with 4, we're down to 3. Liz is the strong one holding on.
Don't jinx me.
Okay.
Anything
VJ,
else?
One question came up, and I wasn't going to outline any of the specific costs. Ours are pretty flat. VJ, do you want to discuss any costs of the Just Invest product?
In general, we charge a basis point fee, which is competitive with a number of ETFs. Specific pricing kind of depends on the total AUM that your firm has with us. But in general, it's between 20 and 40 basis points, depending on which firm you're with, and usually it's between 20 and 30 basis points. So,
sure. And our platform starts at $3,000 per advisor. And for that, you get access to the platform. You get access to those reports. We can do up to 5 of those manual reviews a month. And then on the document creation side, we have a set of what we call core documents for $1,500. They can get a revocable trust, pour over will, power of attorney, healthcare directive, HIPAA authorization, community property documents for those states. And then we align them with an attorney in their state who will do a review and a consultation directly. Let's look through, see if there's anything else. We're hitting about the 30-minute mark. So my goal is to tackle maybe 1 or 2 more questions, depending on the length of the answer. And then any questions, if we don't get to those, we'll obviously answer those after the fact. There is also a poll in place. If you want to reach out to any one of us or all of us, there's an option for you to do that so that the right people will reach back out to you. So let's go to this chat. Let me give me a second to look through. And Liz, you say anything you want. There's a scroll bar here. Let me read through and see what we should pull up.
Well, it's great. We've got a lot of great engagement. I think also too, once the webinar is done, feel free to reach out on LinkedIn around specifics and connect with us for sure. And we'll follow up with anything that we may have missed. We'll also follow up with Matt, who via technology was not able to join today, but he can also provide perspective via email as well.
Yeah, I think that the best question so far is funny that you guys are in the tech space and can't get your text working. So Scott, you're exactly right. I want to find a question for VJ. A lot of these look to be specific to Vanilla. VJ, how do you manage held away accounts like ER provided 401k?
Yeah, that would be a perfect example of a held away account where if we have the data and we're aware of what's being held in that held away account, we would incorporate that in the portfolio that we create, whether it's a 401k or some other held away account. But certainly we would not be managing that 401k. We would just try to understand what are the funds in that 401k, and then we would craft a portfolio around it.
Okay, very good. And I think the last question will be a vanilla question, and it actually, I think it applies to Just Invest as well. I think is the reason I've selected it. What is the role of the advisor in the estate planning and document preparation process? And it's probably something in the same line of Just Invest. What is the role of the advisor as far as Just Invest goes? And I'll start with vanilla. So because of things like UPL, we don't want the advisor too involved with the actual creation of documents. Unauthorized practice of law is a serious thing. And so we design the product to keep you separate. But that said, you should be a part of the process. So for instance, our platform is white labeled, has your logo in it. If we were to send an email to your client, it would have your logo as part of that. We're trying to put you between us and the client and be the service that's helping run that. But we want to give the advisor visibility into what's going on for the client. So what status are they in? Where are they in the process? And then once the client completes their document creation, they have the option to give the advisor full visibility into all the question and answers. And so after the fact, they now remain digitally, and the advisor can go in and look at the way that the client has structured it. If they want to be a part of the process, they can be. They could do a Zoom session and walk through it. Obviously, we just advise. Don't help them select the answers, you give them advice, but we've designed it in a way to keep you separate. And that way the client can go through a similar process of referring them to an attorney, in that you're getting a view of it, you're a part of it. It's through your branded platform essentially that we're running. And so you're kind of the focal point there. We advise the client, if you have legal questions, you come to vanilla, because we want to keep you separate, but you are a part of the process. And then, like I said, you can see the completed documents at the end.
In a similar vein, on the Just Invest side, effectively, we have a platform. We white label our platform, again, with your logo and with your color combination and so forth. And really, what we're looking to do is purely do the investment management. While you work with a client, you understand the client's financial situation, you understand their tax situation, and we would work with you as the advisor, as the intermediary, to craft the client mandate on what exactly and how exactly we should be managing these accounts. Unlike some of the other investments that you may select, whether it's an ETF or a mutual fund, we don't have a one-size-fits-all product. So, we're really doing a solution, an investment solution for your client. So we really rely on you as the advisor to help us understand, what is the client situation, what are their ESG or social values, what is their tax situation, do they need money set aside for a big purchase or university tuition in 2 years or whatever it may be. So that's where I think the role of the advisor is actually critical. And as I said earlier, I think the value that the advisor brings and the value of the advisor and client relationship will continue to grow over time and become even stronger and more valuable.
Very good. So I'll leave this and then pass it back to you, Liz. The poll is live. If you want to put in place who you want to have reach back out to you. Apologize for Matt Wallen not being able to join. And unfortunately, like I said, technology was not on our side today, but we'll do this again. Round this out as our product continues to change. I'm sure Just Invest will as well. And so we'll probably have a future update and do this a second time.
Right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. We wanted to keep this timely and actionable and just educational for all of us as we're looking to future-proof our businesses, spend more time with our clients, be more efficient, leverage technology in ways that help us do our job better with the human-human interaction. So I just want to thank everyone for taking the time to attend today. Again, complete that poll, reach out via LinkedIn. We're here. Great dynamic conversation, Mike and Vijay. Really appreciate hearing some of the insights that you shared, some of those pain points that I think a lot of us can relate to. And again, this is a continued conversation. So please reach out with questions, connect, and I'm sure there'll be future sessions in the future, getting together as this world evolves and technology is here to guide us and really bridge the client relationship with the advisor. So thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Liz.
Thanks, you, Liz. Vijay. Thank you, Mike.